Horizon Zero Dawn's release in 2017 had kind of a small impact, I feel. I think it is a better game than most people believe, and it probably would have been more popular if some random game going to take over the world at the end of the year and capture the freedom of every human child alive. Horizon Zero Dawn is an absolutely beautiful game with amazing characters, truly unique combat and stealth, 30 plus robots, all unique in their own way, a game world that has so much detail it feels alive, great soundtrack, and an intriguing story that kept me wanting more the whole time. It probably would have been more popular if it wasn't released right around the new Nintendo console and long-awaited Zelda game, but regardless, I would highly recommend buying and playing it. It's very cheap, and I got mine for like $10, and I would recommend buying the Complete Edition because that comes with the DLC, and the DLC is really good, but I'll talk about that later. And so first, I'm going to talk about stuff that doesn't have spoilers, like visual elements, the combat setting, and then I'm going to talk about characters and plot that do have spoilers, but let's just jump into it. So, first I'm going to talk about one of the easy things to look at, the visuals. As you can see in the background, the game is beautiful. It looks absolutely amazing. It's one of the best looking games of all time, without a doubt. The facial animations aren't always as good, but you still barely notice it. For most of the time, it's amazing. The graphics are so great, at close and long ranges. You can see the detail in snow, rain, and all the textures. It looks so realistic, and it's amazing to see how far games have come and how good this looks compared to older games. The map has a huge variety of playable areas, from snowy mountains and deserts to jungles and even a volcano. Every one of these locations looks unique because of the snow, wind, trees, and sand. There's just no part of the game that looks bad, and you'll always be shocked by how realistic it looks. Now I'm going to talk about how much detail is put in every single area of the map. Many areas have no human life and you can feel it. It's very easy to see how barren it is, with only small animals and lots of plants. The amount of detail put into all the plants is incredible, and the leaves, and the way that the sun hits those trees. All of the land looks amazing. There are so many rock structures and they look so realistic. You can really see the depth in the game and it feels like you're actually there. There is one part in the south of the Nora territory that has so much detail, I just looked around there for a good hour with no objective. The mountains look huge, and even smaller hills blend perfectly with the environment. When you're high up, you can look for miles and see so many little things. The game just has so much detail in all the land features that you can easily get lost marveling at it. However, there's also land with people in it. The game presents these people live in tribes and live in wooden houses or tents. There are a few larger cities, but most towns are very old-fashioned. In each of these locations, there are so much things to look at. I know I'm talking about visuals, but I also want to mention there are so many sounds. Whenever you're in a town, you feel the need to explore. Anyways, just the houses are designed so interesting. You really have to look at how much detail is put in every single thing. It's very easy to tell what group of people is like based on where they live. The bandits, Nora, Karja, and Padu all have very different locations in where they live. And now I want to mention Meridian, my favorite place in the game. This is the largest city and resembles like an ancient stone palace. And just seeing the scale of this compared to most other small places is amazing. The setting here looks so good, and there's something to look at in every corner. Not to mention the many layers provide even more depth and detail. One of the coolest parts is how it mixes a futuristic metal setting and a primitive tribal human race. There are many caves that have metal ruins, a fossil of a world that is now lost to this civilization. The holograms and lighting make it feel super high-tech, but also deserted. The game does a great job of blending the futuristic tech and the weapons, and overall the game just looks beautiful, and there's so much detail put in every corner of the world. Now let's talk about the combat. You play as Ayla, a Nora tribe member who uses old-fashioned weapons like spears, bows and arrows, and slingshots. Playing in this world with advanced technology that still uses less advanced weapons gives you a sense of fighting crazy creatures with very simple weapons. There are a few exceptions where you do use other weapons like guns, but for the most part, you're not using bullets. There's a huge variety of things to use. Having 4 weapon slots means that you can choose any loadout that fits you. There are items that don't do damage but provide other benefits, even though I stuck to the bow, slingshot, tripcaster, and bowcaster. There's so many different weapons, and each with unique ammo types, ranges, and damages. It is useful to switch around your loadout depending on where you are and what you're facing, and you have enough inventory space to carry a lot of weapons. The combat itself is very immersive. Most of the time you'll be fighting in long range, but if you want to get close and personal, you can use your spear through melee attacks. They do more damage but are riskier and provide a real sense of balance and diverse gameplay. You can run out of ammo. As bad as that sounds, it really adds to the gameplay. The in-game crafting wheel allows you to slow down time, make more ammo, and switch weapons. It flows so well, and it doesn't take you out at all. It just quickly lets you craft weapons and ammo, and then you just as quickly get back into the gameplay. It's very easy to be stealthy and take down machines one by one. The whole robot combat system just feels so fluid, natural, and satisfying. You can also scan their environment with your focus. This shows where your enemies walk and their weaknesses. It's very useful to see where they're going to be going, so you can position yourselves around their route and take them out more stealthily. The ability to hack them also plays into stealth and is one of the most fun parts. The stealth mechanics with humans work even better. Combat with humans is very different from the rest. Humans are smaller and weaker, so that means you can kill most of them very stealthily. Most humans you fight will be in confined camps and not in open places. This means it's much easier to move around the camps using ropes. One complaint I have about the human combat is that it's too easy. Most of them are killed with one arrow to the head, and this makes it not difficult at all, because you just like stand in a corner like I'm doing right now, and then you just shoot at their heads, and then they just all die really quickly. Most humans sprinkled throughout are other creative ways to deal with enemies, like explosive barrels or wooden lugs. In conclusion, the combat, both human and machine, feels very fluid, satisfying, and fun, both at close and long ranges, and stealth. The variety of weapons and ammo types make it so that you can play the game however you want. Sorry if I'm stuttering or just losing my train of thought. The game has over 30 machines, and all of them are incredibly unique. It's sort of like they're all based on a real-life animal, and so it feels like you're in a giant robotic zoo, having to fight off a bunch of different types of animals, and each of them has very unique weaknesses, strengths, and playstyles, and so you can scan them with your focus, and that shows you, like, what parts of their body it's best to shoot for, and having the ability to do that makes it so amazing, because you can analyze them and then see where you're going to shoot, and so you can say, okay, I'm going to aim for his back because I can take out the canisters, or you can say, I'm going to aim for his sonar cannon so that he can't shoot me anymore, and it just changes your playstyle a lot. And also, as you progress through the fight, more and more of their body parts fall off, and so it changes, and this makes it so that as the fight goes on, you have to change your playstyle, and so it's always just changing. Also, many larger creatures can be a real challenge to take down. As you progress through the game, you discover more robots at almost a perfect rate. The progression feels like you're always having a new foe, but never too many. Some creatures are rideable and hacked, which makes them seem less docile than the others. There's also wild animals that can be killed for resources, or if you just want to hunt. In a sense, the game feels like Far Cry or some other survival game with very basic weapons. I haven't even talked about tall necks, some of the best parts of the game. Tall necks are basically this game's version of a tower that unlocks more of the map. They're so fun to climb, and it feels really satisfying when you find a path to climb up it. Not to mention, the animation at the top is stellar. So all the different creatures feel very unique, special, and you have to be prepared to fight in many different styles. The looting and crafting systems also work really well. In your inventory, you have enough space to be able to hold a lot of supplies, but not too much. And the crafting wheel flows into the combat so well, and just the looting system where you're able to walk around the world, kill machines, and get more loot to build more stuff, it all works so well. Here I'm going to talk about all the random things that I don't know where to put in my video. And so first, the ability to override and hack machines is very cool. You start out only being able to do that with the most basic machines, but as you complete more cauldrons, you unlock more. Cauldrons, I won't talk much about because they have factored into the story, but basically if you do the puzzles and kill the machines in there, you can override more machines, and those are one of the best parts of the game, and especially the one in the DLC, which is absolutely amazing, one of the best parts of the game. And they all look so cool, but I just wish there was more. And also, the physical map looks like it's 2D, but if you rotate it, you can see that it's 3D. So if you open your menu and look at the map, it just looks really intriguing. And yeah, so it just looks very good. Now, don't get me wrong, this guy has some great side quests. In particular, the whole Red Maw quest, the one with Erend and Ursa, and Revenge of the Nora are all great. The best side quests in the game have unique gameplay mechanics, amazing characters, a compelling narrative, and cool rewards. But most of the quests are just boring rescue missions. Most of them go like this. Talk to someone, find they lost a family member, and learn where to look. Get there and follow a trail of blood for 5 minutes, have to rescue them from machines, and return to the first person. This gets boring quickly and has no unique qualities. Some have cool rewards, the time of what you did, but most have no backstory. You have some of the side quests that it's almost so many side quests that it's almost overwhelming and hard to distinguish which ones are worth playing. That said, there are still some great ones that really add to the narrative. From here on out, I'm going to be talking about spoilers, so you have been warned. If you want to play the game, which you should, go do that. You play it as Aloy, who is a Nora girl who is cast from her tribe at a young age. You first meet her as a baby in a beautiful and captivating intro cutscene. Then you learn about her journey through her child years, being shown by the tribe's people. She wants to be a Nora, but more importantly, she wants to know who her mother is. That is the overarching question throughout this whole game. Who is Aloy's mother? That is what drives her to enter a challenge to gain access to the tribe. We see her years of training and go out the window as her mentor, Rost, is killed when the bandits sabotage the operation. This sparks the journey to travel to outside lands after learning she came from a large metal creature inside of a mountain. She fails to gain access to go into it, which inspires players to want her to succeed. She learns of an evil entity, Hades, our primary villain, who is blocking her out from finding who her mother is. She sets out to destroy him, not knowing much yet. Throughout the journey, you encounter new and exciting cities, people, and machines. You met Silence, a mysterious man with a dark past. He helps guide you on your quest as you learn about how much larger this is than just one girl looking for her mother. She learns about a past civilization, now dead, that was thriving until it was destroyed by the very robots they created. That is how come there are ancient ruins everywhere. I know it sounds like a standard AI takeover plot, but this one puts a unique spin on it. The people realize that they can't stop the machines, and the end of the world is coming. But they find a way to start life over after the collapse. This is teased at many times, and makes you want to keep playing for answers. Most of the information you find out is from audio logs and data logs. There are a ton of these, and many provide cool information about the world. By the time you're getting to the end of the game, you find out about Elizabeth, the person who came up with the idea of how to start life back up after the inevitable death. By the time you learn that you play as a clone of Sobek, this completes Aloy's arc, with her finally finding out who her mother is and who she can be. It is a very compelling story about a girl searching for answers who is wrapped up in a much larger plot. Throughout the game, I feel a real lack of unique boss fights. Every boss fight is just some creature that you can find while you're exploring. Once the game has had you fight all of the bosses, it just recycles those. The Deathbringer and Thunderjaw are used over and over again as bosses. There's not a single special boss that's only specific to one level, but the final level. It suffers the worst from this. The campaign had been going really well, and I expected a really strong and tough final battle that was memorable and unique, but it was just another stupid Deathbringer fight. All they did was recycle the robot again with no changes. It doesn't feel like actually fighting Hades, just another robot. Not to mention, the setting isn't special at all. Sure, it's under the giant tower thing, but you can barely even see that. If you wanted to, you could take a clip from that fight and mix it in with other gameplay, and people would not be able to tell that that's supposed to be the climax, the final point, the point that the story has been building up to. So that fight was a little bit disappointing. The ending cutscene ends with Ayla finally finding Sobek, and a cliffhanger for the next game that actually had me really excited. So this was an amazing story with great characters, a compelling plot, but sadly a disappointing final boss fight. Now I'm going to briefly talk about the DLC, the Frozen Wilds. The DLC expands the map, weapons, robots, and plot. It takes place in a snowy area north of the map. This section looks amazing, and the snow looks so realistic. The plot is similar to the main game. A robot took over and you have to shut it down. It's much shorter, but still a great story. The final fight is much better. As you complete the final cauldron, you also beat the final quest, and that's great. The final fight is just another copy and paste machine, but the setting sells it. You fight inside a volcano, which not only looks amazing, but has some great mechanics in it, and the whole story had been building up to it. You learn about a secret project there that all culminates in a great final battle. The DLC adds 5 new creatures. Again, they're all unique, and with special skill sets, attacks, and weaknesses. These ones are all very difficult to defeat. It helps that they have a specific origin and feel more unique. The game added some more side quests, which I feel are a lot better now. One quest in particular, the one inside of the dam, has a great character and truly has some amazing mechanics. So in general, the quests are a lot more memorable and feel like they had a larger impact. So this DLC is definitely worth the $10 extra and adds a lot to the experience. Okay, finally done with this video. Beat the game a while ago and it took me a few weeks to write the script just because I was pushing it off. And I'm trying to get these reviews out faster so that I have more accurate memories of the game. I'm working on my God of War and Arkham trilogy review. And also I got a Switch, so maybe I'll review Breath of the Wild or Smash Bros. And I just got Spider-Man, so gonna beat that, review that. I'm gonna stop doing gameplay videos because, like, I can obviously see that you guys don't care about gameplay videos, at least of most games that I play. So I'm just gonna be doing more reviews and maybe some like zombie stuff. I'll just have to see what I'm interested in. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.